Hey everybody, what's going on? EmOUchihaHime here, and welcome to the day after Hurricane Irene barreled through the Northeast. Today I just want to share with you guys my experience and give you guys some pointers from the lessons that I learned during this entire event. First off, why did I title this the way I did? Because Mother Nature is a really powerful force, and she has no problem destroying anything that's in her path. She is that powerful, and you should not underestimate it. You really should not underestimate it. I was one of those people that said this wasn't going to be that big of a deal. It was going to be a bit more powerful than the nor'easters that we generally get here in this area. I was very wrong about that. This storm was hundreds of times more powerful than any other storm we've ever seen here in a long while. In our area, now this didn't exactly happen to me, but in our area alone, in the general New York area, entire roadways were cut in half. Thousands of trees were down. There was several poles that were cut in half. Entire power poles that were cut in half. Thousands were without power. Entire roadways were rivers. You couldn't even see the road. Same thing with throughways. The throughways were absolutely covered. There was no getting anywhere. People had to be rescued by boats. And in some areas, now this was pretty intense, the entire lower half of their house was underwater. That's how intense this storm was, and how intense the flooding of this storm was. This was not something that you're going to mess around with. So if people tell you, if government officials tell you that you need to evacuate your home because of an incoming storm, you better listen to them. You better get your ass to a shelter or get to higher ground, because Mother Nature doesn't care. It's going to come through and it's going to destroy things left and right. For me personally, I got off lucky. I got off really lucky. Sure, I lost power at 5 o'clock in the morning, but that was one of the worst things that happened. At my house, the whole night, the winds were howling. I was terrified the entire night. I don't think there's ever been a time in my life that I've been any more afraid than I was that night when the hurricane hit. Because I have a lot of big trees in my backyard, and with the winds howling the way they were, I was afraid that it was going to take one of those trees and just drop it on my house. That's what I was afraid of the whole entire night. And these trees are big. These aren't teeny little things. These are huge ass trees that have been around for a long time. They could tear a house in half. That's how big these things are. I was afraid that that was going to happen. Thank God it didn't. The only real damage you can say was a couple of tree limbs came down. And that was just the night that it passed over us. That was just that night. The Sunday afternoon, that's when more things started happening, because we got the backside of the winds. When those winds started coming around, they were like maybe 45, maybe 50 miles per hour. I don't know exactly how strong they were, but these winds cut one of my trees in half. It cut it in half and brought down a wall that was separating me from my neighbors. It was kind of like this little, decorative kind of thing. It tore that apart. So these winds weren't something to laugh at. So I thank God for making sure that nothing serious happened here, but I'm just blown away by this, because I went outside just recently to check out the damage for myself, because I saw it from my window. It didn't look, that crazy, but when I got out there, I was blown away by how intense it was. Now this was just half of a tree. These branches were huge. They're about this freaking big. Big as my head. Very big. And you're trying to lift one of those? You're not moving that. You are not moving that. So Mother Nature's blowing this stuff around like a toy. That's intense. That is freaking intense. So I have a whole new respect for Mother Nature. If I'm ever told to evacuate because of a hurricane, I'm probably going to do it, because I don't think I could go through that again. I certainly don't want to go through something like this again. I do hear that there are other hurricanes developing in the ocean. I hope they don't come here. I just hope they just veer off and go somewhere else, because I don't want them here again. And I'm sure a lot of people here in the Northeast feel the same way. But just some advice for some people who live in this area or are in hurricane zones. 1. Respect Mother Nature. Because Mother Nature will tear things apart. It really will, and you will just be in its way. It has no problem throwing you about. 2. If your government officials tell you to get the hell out of there, you better listen. Because you're going to probably find yourself chest high in water. Okay? This is not something to mess around with. When they tell you to get out, you better listen. Because they know what they're talking about. Sometimes, sure, they blow things out of proportion. But I think they really called it with this storm. And I applaud the mayor of the city for taking the action that he did. I think that was a good call. And I applaud everyone for that. I mean, this was intense. Another thing. This is a typical thing you should do. At the very least, make sure you have water in the house and, you know, dry food. Something that doesn't spoil. Something, you know, like snack foods, canned vegetables, any kind of canned food. As long as you have one of those manual openers, make sure you have those in your house. And make sure you have like a portable radio so you can hear what's going on. Because you're left in the dark. When there's no power, you have no idea what's going on unless you have a smartphone that has, you know, full battery and you can get onto the internet and stuff. But make sure you have a portable radio that you can listen to. You know, just be prepared. Just be prepared. And make sure you tie stuff down. Tie stuff down. And if you have a big property, or, you know, a relatively sized property, make sure you check on your trees. I was afraid that one tree was going to come down entirely, and this is a different tree than the ones I was talking about before, because it did seem a little bit sick. Luckily today the tree guy said that it was okay. It's not sick or anything. It's fine. It's just got beat down on by the sun all summer, so it looks kind of, you know. So just keep on top of your property and make sure things are tied down and make sure, you know, nothing's gonna fly off and, you know, cause damage to someone else's property. So those are just some of the things that I learned during this thing. It was intense. It was a real intense experience. And I'm okay. My family's okay. You know, thank everybody for all of the safe wishes. That really means a lot to me that you guys really care that much. So thank you guys for that. And that's pretty much all I have to say for today. Just respect Mother Nature. That's just the bottom line. Respect it, because it will beat the crap out of you. So I'm just hoping the best for everyone else out here in the Northeast. I hope you're all okay. And we'll get through it. We'll get through it one day at a time. So that's it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!